Yeah, and then, but, yeah.
What's up, guys?
All right, you guys can find a way for either coach. Please let them know, obviously, which one you're asking.
For both of you guys, outside of a win today, not today, on Saturday, what are your guys' goals for your units respectively?
I'll take this one first, Steve.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I'll start off with this one. Yeah, we want our guys to play really hard. We want to have a physical style, physical brand, and we'd like to put that on display. We'd obviously like to execute very well at a high level and see our guys all have some success early on. But it's a very good opponent. They're built to stop the run, and so we got a challenge ahead of us.
Echo everything he said. Well said.
Thanks, Steve.
How have your college eyes changed in the last 15 practices in fall from what they were in the spring?
You say that one more time. What was the start?
How have your college eyes adjusted or changed in the last, let's just say, month and a half with fall camp?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, football's football. It was a little different view coming to college, but football's football, and I don't know. I had to think pretty hard about that question, so I guess I'm used to it now.
Steve, is it just the level of competition that we got a depth chart yesterday and it showed 3 of the 5 secondary spots are kind of this guy or this guy, like they're all up in competition still. Is that kind of surprise you a little bit that you're so late with these guys still playing for a starting position?
No, I mean, to me, it's a good problem to have, right? You can't decide which one should be in there. Both of them could be in there. Guys can move around, guys can play. Depth charts, it's just a depth chart. There's a lot more to it than that. I mean, it means something. I'm not saying that, but a lot of guys are going to play in the game. I'm sure on both sides of the ball.
For sure.
And so, who's ever out there on the first play, that doesn't mean that other guys won't get in there and rotate.
How much does it help your, just on that note, how much does it help your defensive line rotation to have Javon Parker back in the mix as well?
Yeah, the more good players that we can have playing the game is what we're looking for.
Steve, how much has your process changed in terms of, what kind of knowledge base do you need to create, whether it's Weber State or the Miami Dolphins? How much has your process maybe changed in going to this week, and just how much do you dive in to what the play caller is that you're going to be facing?
Yeah. I mean, I think every process is different. Every opponent's different. Every coach is different. Going against BC every day in camp and in the spring kept me up at night sometimes thinking about, like those battles. Like, it's just the competitive nature and how you go about your business. But no, you don't want to overthink some of this stuff. It's Tuesday of game week. Just like next week, we'll have a Tuesday of game week. And just like after that, we've been going against each other for so long. And
Some great battles too, guys.
Yeah, great battles. But like, we've been going against each other for so long, and then now it's time to get ready for the game. And so we haven't been thinking about the game recently. We've just been going against each other. And so now it's time to get ready for the game. So it's not like, I'm not going to speak for BC, but I've been preparing for this game and this specific opponent for however many months. I've just been getting the guys ready to go and compete with what's on that day or what that week had going. Now it's flipping a little bit, but we'll still get some OD competitive work. We'll do different stuff, but I mean, the process is just kind of happens organically, I guess.
Yeah, we've got through the development of battling each other, and now we've obviously turned our attention to Weber State. They're a really good opponent, and so we've had to make some adjustments. They do some things that we're not going to see from these guys, and vice versa, and offense and defense as well. But this is a great challenge for us, so we're excited to get going.
Brennan, in rebuilding this offensive line, five new starters since last year, you've got all kind of veteran guys from somewhere or place or another, with the exception of Swanee Fasolo. Could you talk a little bit about him? He's the one young guy that just got into the lineup.
Yeah, Swanee's had a great spring in development and getting bigger, faster, stronger. He's probably up about, probably 30 pounds since we got here. Strength and nutrition have done a fantastic job with him. getting him to the point where he's at right now. So he's ready to play college football. He, getting those 15 spring practices was huge for him. Played, I think, maybe 14 of the 15. He was out there, getting great reps in. And then he had all summer to work out, and then he had a fantastic camp. So we're really excited about him and what he's, the steps he's made in his development.
How heavy is he right now?
Today? Oh, yeah, he's like probably in the 320s. Hey, big kid. You guys seen him? Big guy?
I'm sorry, we know.
No, unless you haven't seen Swanee, then I'll go get him.
Last week, so unless you both have a lot. When I talked to D'Lo over the summer after he committed to you guys, he said that he wanted to challenge himself. How do you feel he embraced that challenge and kind of passed that challenge?
Yeah, D'Angelo's been awesome. He's taken a fantastic leadership role and he's always wanted to be here. This has been the school he grew up rooting for. And so when he got this opportunity, he was really excited about it, obviously. He's done a great job in leadership role, just being an older guy, helping the young guys along. And he's got some great leadership traits in that aspect. And then he's played a bunch of football, so he's seen a lot, and he's got some great background to help us get this thing off the ground running.
Brennan, where have you seen the most growth in Enoch Vamahai since he's come in?
He's been fantastic. He's a heck of a ball player. I think we're lucky to have him. He's been a fantastic addition to the room, but also just been a great teammate to everybody. He's got an infectious attitude, and the guys want to play with him, want to play next to him, want to be around him. Great kid, and he's going to be a really talented player. I don't see this as his last year playing.
Steve, with as much as your dad has been out of practice and stuff, I'm curious when you guys communicate just on a regular basis, how much of it is about Washington and Washington's defense, and so what sort of insights does he maybe share with you about what he's seen out here or what he saw at practice or whatever it might be?
Yeah, I think BC can speak on this also, but the guy's my dad. So we don't just talk about football. We have a life, and we talk about father and son things. Mm-hmm. He's also a football coach, just like me. I've coached with him, but we do other things, believe it or not. And he's a mentor to me, on and off the field. But the thing that I appreciate most about my dad, and BC's similar situation, is he calls to check in on me as a person. And if football comes up, it comes up. I can call him about stuff in life, or I can call him about stuff in football, which just like other people who have experience who are older than me, I can call people about life, call people about football. But there is more to our relationship, surprisingly, than just football.
Yeah, that could be a real thing. Coach Belichick, when he talks to me, we don't have that same bond. But when Coach Carroll talks to me, yeah, a lot of life stuff. Just future. He's got a bunch of grandkids he likes to hang out with, and yeah, he's got other endeavors. So but he needs help now because he's used to having a job now. He's got something else going on, so he needs some advice here and there. So I help him too. Nailed it.
Yeah.
What's the one biggest question mark you guys have going into this game for both your units?
Yeah, I think this is just getting to go against another opponent. That's really the only thing we haven't done. We've been like Coach mentioned, we've been battling each other for a long time. These guys are ready to go play physical. They're ready to go play fast. They're ready to go fly around. It'll just be taking all the coaching points and then applying them to a different opponent that we'll have seen one time, and it's when they first roll the ball out there. So. But past that, we got to play our game. We got to do our stuff, and we got to do right longer. So.
Could both of you maybe just give a quick glimpse at what you see on tape from Weber State? Maybe a couple players you're keeping an eye on that have popped off the tape for you.
Sure. Yeah. Up front, they're really stout. Wilson and Thompson are both guys that have come back and probably had opportunities to go elsewhere, but stuck around the program. So they're really solid up front. Got a really good front seven, and then they'll put the safety in the box and play with 8 guys down there. So yeah, they'll be pretty solid up front. They fly around. They're physical. They can play straight up the field. They do a lot of movements too. So we got to be ready for everything.
Yeah, I think for them offensively, with the quarterback who played at the end of the year and coming into this year as a starter, most offenses it starts with the quarterback. They got skill players returning. They got some guys up front, but I think you just got to focus on what we do, our technique. We've gone against a lot of good players. We should have some confidence in being able to do that. So when we line up against some good players on Saturday, they should feel confident doing that. But there's a lot of moving parts going into the first game of the season, and how their guys are going to be used and what they're going to do. Try not to overthink that stuff. Quarterback's quarterback, backs, receivers, all that stuff. There's going to be some of them in the game, whether you know them or not. Just trust your technique, trust what you've been doing. We've seen different styles of players against our offense at all positions, up front, quarterback, receivers. Trust your technique, follow your rules, and go execute.
Steve, you've really focused on a lot of versatility in your players. It's something you've talked about a lot. During the mock game, it looked like your lines were almost kind of in hockey shifts sometimes. Is that kind of been a hallmark of what you try to do? Is that something that Washington fans are going to see a lot on Saturday?
I think it's all just, relative to who's available at the game and what the rotations are. Injuries happen, and shoe could fall off. Like, anything could happen, within the series, within the game. So the guys who are going to be in the rotations, the guys who are going to play, those guys will play. But all position groups are different. Depending on who's available, what the guys can handle, what the packages are. I wouldn't rubber stamp any of that stuff. But getting the guys in, getting them rolling up front specifically is keeping those guys fresh, because they don't do that on the offensive line. So get some fresh bodies in there and get them ready to roll.
I know between you two guys, you have like 4 Big Sky transfers that came in. You have 1 and you have 3. Has this come up at all in conversation? All of them have played Weber State before, multiple times, I think. Has their backgrounds or anything like that come up this week because they're going to play against their old league?
I don't think it's going to be too much of a factor. I know we've mentioned it, and we've just mentioned the regard we have for that conference, and we don't take anybody lightly. So I know we're really excited that some of our guys are getting an opportunity to play a lot for the first time and showcase their talents. So this is a great week to do so.
Brennan, how do you manage setting that starting 5, having them play together cohesively, but also getting that second unit? Because I have to imagine on some level you want to see how those other guys in the 2D rotate in and kind of play in a game situation.
Yeah, we'll see how the game goes. There's a possibility where there'll be some rotation. We'll see how that plays out right now. But, that'll be kind of determined on game time. So we'll see how it goes.
Sorry. Obviously, you guys brought Landon along here throughout camp. Just curious how close he is to maybe being able to play a full game or part of a game, or just sort of where you guys are at with him.
He's fully cleared, and we'll just we'll see how it goes in the game. So I would bet he's going to be in there at some point in time, and we'll see where he's at. It'll kind of at the we'll just kind of see how the football guys treat it, and he's doing great though. He's done everything right. He's been a fantastic teammate. He's done his rehab has been elite, and the training staff that's helped him get there have been fantastic as well too. So really excited that he's getting really close to being where he feels he's most comfortable.
Anything else for these guys? All right.
Cool.
Thank you very much, coaches.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate y'all.
See you in a week.
Alphonzo, we saw your captains, you guys are two of them released last night, but yeah, both starting inside linebackers as captains. Could you talk a little bit about that?
No, it's just a grateful opportunity, man, being able to have me and Cars, guys that have been here for a while, being able to be that standard for guys for our players to look up to and just set that standard. It's a blessing and it's an honor at the same time.
You knew his dad was a captain here too?
You said what?
His dad was a captain here 30 years ago?
I did not know that. I mean, that's big for Cars, you know what I'm saying? So that's, like I said, it's just an opportunity and something to be honorable about. I'm grateful for.
Well, how do you look back at fall camp? Obviously, you won the starting quarterback job, and kind of talk about how much DeMond helped you in that regard. Because Jed said he was kind of nipping at your heels throughout fall camp. Did you sense that, and did that help your play to ultimately win the job?
No, I mean, I definitely kind of knew that he was a really, really good player. I mean, you could see that throughout spring ball, the way he throws the ball, the way he gets out of the pocket and makes plays. So, I said it before fall camp, competition is good for everybody. It's healthy for the team and every position, especially quarterback. So, he's a really good player. He'll have a big future ahead of him.
Well, outside of getting a win on Saturday, what are some of your goals for the game personally?
Probably just like playing up to our standards in offense and, just as a team, it's not really about what the other team does. For me, it's really about just how we want to play in and play out, and just playing up to our standards in offense.
What would you say some of those standards are?
I mean, just little things, obviously as an offense, we want to be explosive, take care of the ball, control the line of scrimmage, just things like that, So I think if we do those things and, just worry about one play at a time, then we'll be good.
Well, you've got pretty much a veteran line, even though it's an all-new line for this place. But there's one young guy up front, Fasalo. Could you talk a little bit about him? Because he's kind of made the breakthrough amongst the younger guys. He came in with Hatchett and 5 different linemen last year, but he's the one starter right now.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job, especially since spring ball. He was a new guy, new face in there, kind of got thrown in the fire a little bit, spring ball. But the strides he's made from then until now are just tremendous. And I think the biggest thing for him is just being in the game, being in a game-like environment, getting those first kind of drives under his belt and just getting comfortable out there. And I think you'll see him, to continue to grow over the season. So.
Question for both of you guys. How do you approach the first game of the year? You've both played a lot of college football. What's that approach like for week one?
So week one is very unique because you never really know, especially with this team we're facing. We're really going off the film last year, but they can really go out there and run anything. So at the end of the day, it falls back on our training and our fundamentals, and I feel like if we stick to that, then we'll be all right on the defensive side.
Yeah, kind of the same thing offensively. I mean, you're going off of a team that had different players last year. Some guys returning, some guys have left, but you're going off film from last year as well. So it's kind of like I said earlier. I mean, first game, you really don't know what to expect, but it's all up to us just playing how we want to play, playing up to our standard as a team.
Yeah, Alphonso, I was curious, based on the last year as a foundation and the culture you guys created, how was Coach Fish and his staff able to build that kind of back up and then earn your trust along with the other guys that stayed all the way until kind of building up towards this week, knowing that this was going to be the first game of the season?
Just keeping it relationship-based, something that's always been the focal point of this program since I got here, and preaching that to Coach Fish and his staff, and they're willing to go along with that and build on that. So throughout the offseason, players doing our due diligence on and off the field, building those relationships, but also the staff, coming in as well and doing what they have to do, whether it's giving us money to go out to the movies or go create these fun things outside of the facility and build that camaraderie between the team. Coach Fish is all about that, and so I feel that's what's been the biggest part in us connecting with the staff as well, because they've been all in on that.
So you were here in 2021 when Montana kind of came in here and upset you guys. What lessons did you learn from that FCS matchup that maybe you've tried to impart to some of the newer guys here? Yeah,
I didn't play that year due to an injury, but seeing that happen, obviously, like Will said, we have a standard. There's a standard here that we always play to and want to be a part of, and so really it's just focusing on what we have to do as a team. We're focusing on our fundamentals and our coaching points, and I feel like we can't really focus on the outside noise, and so we do that, we'll be all right.
For both of you guys, who's one, redshirt freshman, somebody that's come in throughout fall camp and really impressed you?
I mean, I've obviously been around DeMond a lot because, we play the same position. He's extremely impressive. But two other guys are Adam Muhammad and then Aldrich Harris. I thought those guys have done a really, really good job offensively. They've rotated in there with the ones. They've gotten some reps in with the ones when, Denzel might need a break or, Jonah might need a break or whatever it may be. But, to see two guys that I guess should be technically in high school and spring ball, playing up to that level, it's really, really exciting. And, really exciting for years to come for this program.
I'll say someone on my side of the ball, he's linebacker Kamari House, being able to bring him up as a young buck, showing him the way, showing him how the culture is. He's really been doing his thing on the field and showing that he has a motor and also take coaching as well. So I feel like that's a good player that I've been keeping my eye on, especially since he's in my room. So, yeah.
You're both at the national championship game, and so much has occurred since then. Like, are you excited to finally have this thing actually be about the next game? It feels like there's been so much else that you've been talking about since then, or been asked about since then.
Yeah, it feels like a long time ago, but the thing that I'm kind of most excited for is just, to start this new journey. It's obviously, I was there at the game when they played Michigan. Obviously wasn't dressed out or anything like that, but I was on the sidelines, so I got to, see it and experience that, which was really cool. But, since then, it's kind of been, my mission as the quarterback, as the leader, just for this team and this program, this new team, to kind of run their own race, if that makes sense. We're not last year's team. We're not, Arizona's team from last year. It's a bunch of different guys from a bunch of different places, but we all play for the University of Washington now. So that's been the coolest thing to me, and that's been the biggest thing that I've been trying to preach to the team is that, the 2024 season is what we make of it. So, let's run our own race and let's aim high. So.
Yeah, to add on to that point, I was on that team last year. I played in the championship and went through that whole process, coaching change and whatnot. But once Coach Fish and them got here, brought in our guys, especially really in the summer, when we had that group to finally go into our off-season training. Like Will said, this is 2024 UW football. Can't worry about the future, can't worry about the past. All we can do is focus on now, and that's really what we've been doing, really just working in the lab, building our armor up and building our brotherhood up. And so now that we have a chance in a couple of days to showcase that, I think our team's just excited, and we're ready to see all the hard work that we've put in finally go into play. And we're just excited for each other.
Alphonzo, that said, your hoodie, is that the Marcus Peters quote?
Yeah, it is.
It sounds like it looks like maybe you kind of got that little extra chip because of that too.
I think we ain't done yet. That's for sure what it is. And this is what this team's all about. There's a lot of noise that's been going on about our team, but I think the one biggest thing for our team that I'm very proud of is just being able to focus on what we have to do and just our standards and our mentality, just trying to build that up. We have new guys, like Will said, a bunch of new guys from Arizona, a bunch of new transfers, a lot of guys coming back. And that was probably one of the biggest things that we've learned is being able to bring that together and, have that chip as a team and build our own identity, paint our own picture. And that's what we're going to continue on doing.
Well, most people would look at not having one starter back on offense as overall a general negative. Is there a kind of silver lining to that you got 11 new guys that don't need to adhere to somebody else's culture that was already established or somebody else's system, and all 11 guys can come in at the same time together and build this thing up?
What do you mean by?
Just as far as the offense goes, you got 11 new guys out there from last year.
Yeah, it's kind of like our whole team. It's kind of just like a whole new team, but especially on offense, it's, a transfer here, a transfer there, a guy that was injured here, a guy that was injured there. So, it's been challenging, but I think the strides that we've made since the start of fall camp till now have been just tremendous for us. I think it's really big for our confidence for some of those guys that haven't been playing as much. But I think the biggest thing for us is we need to get into a game. We need to feel like what it's like going up against a real opponent. And then we just have to continue to get better each week. This should be the worst we're ever going to be today. We should be getting better every single day. So that's just the main thing. We need to be in a game. We need live reps, and we need to just be in a competitive environment come game day and things like that. So,
Alphonzo, they gave us depth charts yesterday, and and it looked like 19 out of the 22 guys were fairly well set, but there were 3 secondary jobs that are wide open, and these guys all have heavy credentials with Prysock and Jackson, and Broussard is an all Big Sky guy, and Fish told us that he might put 3 cornerbacks out on the field at once, or 3 safeties out at once. Have you been kind of entertained by that competition right behind you? You know, because it's still in doubt, and they could, 3 corners could be out in the field at the same time.
Yeah, no, all those guys that you mentioned, EJ, Efi, and then who's the other one? Thaddeus Dixon. Those are all guys that I could see that anybody out there, it's either way. I'm confident in what we're going to do, and those guys compete. So I haven't been really focused on too much on that conversation or what's happening there, but I know at the end of the day, whoever's out there and whoever's on the sideline is going to have that same energy in supporting their teammates. And when it's their time to have the opportunity, they're going to expertise on it. So.
Well, Jed Fish said that, with you and D'Angelo, that's a lot of experience right through the middle of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
How have you seen D'Angelo's experience kind of translate on the field, and what's your relationship like with him?
Yeah, you can definitely tell that he's played a lot of ball. Just talking with him about like a pressure, or if he saw this, where was the nose lined up on this play, just little stuff like that. Being able to talk with him, and I think that's really good when you have that quarterback center communication, especially because he's making calls, I'm making calls. We have to be on the same page. So for the center to have I don't know how many games he's played or whatever, but he's had a lot of experience, and I've played some games in my career too. So for us to have some experience there, I think it'll be really key.
Well, is there any comparable experience that you can draw back on that coming into the season? Like, did you ever have a turnover like this, either in high school or in college? I mean, I know it's drastic, or even anything similar to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think as much as last year was not very fun for me playing football, with Coach Leach passing away, that's probably like the most. That's probably the closest thing to this. It's you think you're going into a great year, your senior year at Mississippi State, and then something happens like that, and Coach Leach passes away, and then everything else just kind of happens the next year. And then when I got here, it was kind of like, I mean, nobody passed away or anything like that, but the coach left right when I got here, so it was kind of just a weird thing. But I kind of felt like the same way about it as when that happened at Mississippi State. But I tell people all the time, like, it's crazy how the Lord works, and I'm blessed to be here, blessed to be with guys like Zoe, and just blessed to be in the locker room. So I'm thankful I'm here. I love Coach Fish, and I'm excited for this year.
Going back to the center quarterback exchange thing, I just wonder, whoever you were going to play with was going to be new to you. What sort of things did you do to kind of get that down? Was there some extra work? How many snaps a day? All that sort of detail?
No, a lot of work. A lot of work. I think this is the hardest I've ever worked in my career, off-season wise, like off-season training, and then like spring ball, combination of summer reps, things like that. Because I guess D'Lo got here in the summer. Yeah, D'Lo got here in the summer, so just like getting snaps with him on our own, like player-in practices in the summer, all that stuff was huge for us. And I think we're a completely different team than we were, when the staff got here. So it's a combination of everything. Just being a brotherhood, hanging out with each other on and off the field, but then also getting our work in and being real dedicated in that area.
Hey, Will, how would you describe this defense here that you've gone against now throughout the spring and in the camp?
Pretty complex, as a quarterback sitting back there. A lot of movement, a lot of, I don't want to give away our secrets or anything like that yet, but it's a really good scheme. I've been really impressed, but I think it's just made me a better player, to be able to go against that every single day. I think it's made me a better player. The game's definitely slowed down for me since spring ball. And to be able to see the different things we do defensively, I think it'll only help me come this fall.
Hey, Will, when it comes to the offensive line, how quickly this fall did you come to realize that what you were seeing then was so much different than what you saw like at the end of spring, for instance?
I think just even having like the bodies, there were some times in spring ball, I think we had like 7 or 8 guys practicing. So just like having the bodies, having the depth, being able to really like practice and, really like get better was the biggest thing for me in fall camp. Like, we get Landon and guard back, we get D'Lo a transfer, some of the freshmen are here now. So, just to have that whole group out there and, moving around and having real practice and getting better together was the biggest thing. So pretty soon to answer your question.
Will, John Coleman had a tweet the other day that was pretty emphatic, 0 watch list. So he's obviously, I know you guys try to say you don't look at that stuff, the preseason stuff, but it looked like it kind of offended him that he didn't show up on somebody's preseason list as one of the top 30 or 40 running backs in the country. Do you get a feeling that maybe he's a prideful guy that's insulted by that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have Instagram or Twitter, honestly. I try to stay off of that during the season, kind of keep the main thing. But I think Jonah's a great running back, but, if it's any advice I could give him and any advice I could give to my teammates is just, don't listen to the noise because, it doesn't matter. Nothing that anybody says on Twitter, nothing that you say on Twitter is going to help you win a game on Saturday, so it doesn't matter. That. And if we can get to that point as a team where we're we don't care what other people say about us, we just go out there and play for each other and play for the W, I think we're going to be in a good spot as a team.
How much family? I know Zoe, you and D'Angelo are probably going to have over 24 people, but how many family are you guys going to have at this game?
A lot. That's all I can say.
He's been begging me for tickets all week.
I'm still waiting on him.
Family?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know my grandparents, my dad coaches high school football, so he'll coach in the game on Friday and then fly out early Saturday morning. And then my brother plays offensive line at Southern Miss, so my mom and dad kind of have to split up every other week, and I don't know. It depends on the schedule and where he's playing and things like that, but my mom's going to Lexington this week, so I think it's just my dad, my sister, my uncle, and my grandparents this week, so it's a long way from home.
Thoughts on an 8 p.m. game? I mean, Zoe's used to playing in the Pac-12, but thoughts on an 8 p.m. game? 8 p.m. kickoff?
Yeah. The time's the time. Show up. We're going to handle our business. Can't really control that. Yeah.
Get to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah.
Will, do you ever think about what it's going to be like to come out of the tunnel Saturday night? Have you stopped to think about what that's going to be like, or have any of these guys kind of told you what to expect?
I've just kind of asked them about the fans and the atmosphere and things like that, what it's like on game day. I'm excited. I'm excited to see. I've played in some pretty cool atmospheres, but I try and keep the main thing come Saturday night. And my focus will be, just all in on the game plan, all in on doing my job, play in and play out. So that's kind of my focus. I'm excited to run out of the tunnel with my brothers and just excited to play.
All good?
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.
Guys.